We relate and understand movie villains much more than we do real people, or at least the people we pin as villains in society. You can probably list off a number of characters and reasons for their crimes and the villains of movies, like Thanos. He commits genocide, but he does it for trying to save the universe. And so let's say Harvey Dent or Two-Face from Batman. He wants revenge for the injustice done to him, but he does it in a murderous and criminal way. So we want to know these kinds of villains. We want their motives. We want to treat them almost as like case studies, and we want to look deep into who they are. And we say that a good character is a complex one. But when people are turned into villains in real life, they're simplified instead of brought into complexity. And they're turned into either labels or symbols or both. And probably a good example of this is Elon Musk. Now, I'm not saying anything about his views or who he is as a person. All I'm saying is there's background to him. So his background is probably seen through some of the things he's said before. There's a quote, or that I'm going to paraphrase here. It's about like technological progress won't be made on accident. Like someone has to do it, is basically what he said before. And he really just wants progress to happen, at least in the technological space. So you know that he has a good goal in mind. Like I think that's a pretty good goal. So he has some sort of goal and a reason behind what he does, everything he does. And sure, he does like politics and stuff, but if you look at like who he is as a person, you look into the background of what he says and what he believes. And I think he does believe that he's making progress in the world. But I'm not saying that he's a good person or anything. I'm just using him as an example. So the point is, online and also in person, I'm sure, people villainize Musk and a number of other people that they decide are their enemies. And they turn them into labels or symbols. I remember at one point, Elon Musk had people drawing like swastikas on his Teslas. Well, people's Teslas that bought from Tesla. But they turned him into a symbol of evil, right? So all that happens is there's people are simplified down when they become villains, or when people see them as villains. And this happens the most online because there isn't any way to go one for one, one-to-one, one-on-one in like a response type of way. Because when you say something bad about someone online, they aren't really going to respond directly back to you. So people a lot of the time just end up villainizing them even more because they don't get a response, and then they just think like this is true because they said it, and now they're certain that their ideas, their beliefs are correct because they sent it out into the world. I'm guessing this was the case in history too, all the way up until now. So it's not just like social media and online. It can be in real life too. It's really just like the spread of information and even rumors, for possibly. The point is that if you were to join like a debate, let's say, you would study the idea that you were wanting to debate about very hard, and you would study your opponent very hard. But what happens when you villainize someone? You don't actually get the debate happening, and you don't have a reason to read into their history, and that just turns them into a blank slate for you, because now you can apply any idea and any belief that you think they have onto them, because they're blank. They don't exist with a background. They don't have their beliefs. They don't have good beliefs, at least. That's what happens when people are villainized. And the fact is, especially online, there's no real social penalty for getting something wrong about someone, especially someone that's famous or someone that's disliked already. So you can spread misinformation or disagreement even farther when you are able to villainize someone at the start. So that's a clear way that this cycle starts with villainization of people and the simplicity that they are turned into. And the fact is, like, you can even get judged more for agreeing with someone who is universally disliked rather than like going with them on just like a particular aspect. So it's like the clear like feedback loop is very problematic for like actually getting like discussion across when someone is becoming villainized. And it's not just like these people are good people. The fact is, it's just that they have a story behind them. They're more complex than the blank slate that they're turned into by whoever wants to turn them into the villain. People love complexity in the characters when it's fictional and you see the heroes who you know are the heroes, which isn't always the case in real life. But you know they're the heroes and they take on the villain and they defeat the villain. You know that's going to happen, and it's a very clear ending. And this is much safer. It's a much safer environment for looking into the villain, because the villain isn't actually your enemy. That's kind of the thing that's interesting about the fictional characters. They aren't your enemy. So what's happening is you're looking into just a character. It's not someone who is a villain to you. It's just a villain to the characters in the movie. And the safety kind of lets you explore into the depths of the characters. In real life, though, we fear the villains because the possibility is that you could find out after looking into them, looking into what they believe in, that you might actually agree with them. Or even just the idea that they are a human, you turn them into a human, and now you can't apply all of the negativity on top of them as easily when you had before a blank slate. You learn by looking into someone and looking into their background and what they believe in, that they are human just like you. And that's a pretty uncomfortable thought if you really dislike someone and you want them to be the villain. It's a very difficult thing to do, to turn them into the villain once you know they're human. And I think that's the main point here. Just turning them into humans is a much better way of going about disagreeing with someone than villainizing them. That's all I had to say today. Bye.